Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time you're watching this, as always, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. So, tonight we're going to be talking post spawn fishing. Um, we're going to be talking some current events going on, the tournament coming up this weekend. Had a recent trip out to Eastman pre fishing just for fun. We'll talk about how that went to an extent. Give up as much information as I can, and I'm going to be pretty, honest. I'll probably give most of it all up and just may the best man win. There was just I seen some monsters, but we'll get into that. Um, Actually, seen a monster uh, at Eastman, so we'll talk about that. And I mean, it was frighteningly huge, like 12 pounds or something, 11 pounds. This thing was giant, one of the biggest bass I've ever seen, without a doubt, in my opinion, a double digit. Of course, I didn't get to weigh it, didn't get it out the water, but we'll talk about that. And hey, Gerbs, how's it going? So I'll be out at Eastman this Saturday. Um, was out there yesterday, and we're going to talk, like I said, post spawn, and a couple of lures that work for me post spawn. We got Mike's lures over there. I got to get those to him sometime this weekend or next week. And Ray has got himself a fishing pole he won. So, hey, no limit. Nice to see you on tonight. We'll be talking power fishing most of the time, actually. For most of the rest of the year, you won't see me doing too much finesse fishing. There will be times, especially in the summer, if I'm fishing during the daytime or any time when the sun's out down there. You might have to go to either top water or jerk bait, LV 500, or something really finessey. They can be tricky to catch in the summer at certain times. But most of the time this year, well, every year for me, but from about post spawn all the way up to early winter, I'd say. I throw things like a spinner bait, a crank bait, a jerk bait, an LV 500, blade baits. I'll throw Kitex, I'll throw underspins. Uh, Bottom bouncing wise, I'll throw swing heads, U heads. I'll throw swing jigs, Nico, Ned rig. You guys notice I haven't been throwing a lot of drop shot lately. I'll throw that too when the time's right. Uh, but I have kind of my really go-to lures. But power wise, I kind of stick this time of year with jigs, crankbaits, spinner baits, jerk baits, and top water. And I just big fish basically all the time. And there are times when I go out there and I'll take out the ferry one in a summer day when the fish are real deep or offshore, and drop shot or something works really good for them. But I like to LV 500 for those fish. So in the summertime, especially when they're more active, but they just could be deep because of water temps or a pressure system or super brutal hot. A lot of the time too, you can get them on top water. So I'm looking forward to this year. Um, being hopefully a good one. Uh, the spawn was awkward for me. I didn't get as much fishing in as I'd like, but with the lake levels doing what they were doing, I didn't see too many big fish. To be honest, the last week of fishing, a week and a half, I've seen the biggest fish I've seen all year. So all the pre-spawn, all the spawn, unless these are late mamas that are coming up to spawn instead of the early ones, I don't know. But I've seen some super huge fish in the 8 to 10 to 12 pound range, all up in 3 to 6 feet of water, and appearing to be on beds or near beds, but not really like on beds. And then when they see you, they swim off. They don't come back to the bed right away. But I've been seeing a lot of them that they kind of do. What they do is they do this big circle, and then they check on you. And if you're still there, they kind of swim off. Then they might go sit near their bed, but not on it. And the beds aren't as pronounced anymore. So maybe they're watching the eggs. Maybe the male got caught. I have no idea. But I've been seeing some monster females up shallow. I've been seeing some cruisers. That's the post spawn ones, I think, that are huge, giant, 10, 11 pound bass. that are just massive, and I've been having them follow in things like the crankbait, the jerk bait, and the spinner bait. Hey Ray, what's going on? So I don't know about maybe a Sunday or sometime next week if you want to meet up, or if you want to figure out a way I can get you guys your combo. I got Mike's lures right here, and your rod's all taken care of. Yeah, someone drop a like, right? RC Creative, you got me. Yeah, thanks for the shirt, by the way. You see what I'm wearing, brother? Got to support. But yeah, um, so I've got a river rat tournament that's coming up this weekend. Here it's post spawn, so where RC's at, it's probably just turning on spawn. Ooh, Shizer. Certain part of the countries, that was the elbow right there, clean on the edge. But certain part of the countries, it's like barely kicking into spawn, where they're moving up on beds or getting up on beds over there. But most of the South, Florida, the West Coast, most of us, I'm sure, have gone through probably at least 60%, 70% of our spawn wave, if not more. But I've seen fish definitely on beds still, so they're still spawning, some of them. But don't know how much longer for. And obviously, it's dwindling down. So post spawn seems to be the nice first beds this week. Captain Saver. Ding, 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 ding. Who's up? What is it? I could sing the song. I'm hearing it playing in the back of my head. I want to be saved. Love that song. Appreciate you guys very much, though. All you guys. You guys are awesome. Um, but yeah, post spawn right now is what I'm kind of focusing on, because there's so many buck males up shallow. So there are some big females, but it's like you got to go through 100, 1 to 2 pound males, damn near, it seems like, or like 40 of them to find a 3 plus, 4 plus female. And it's frustrating as hell, but they are still up there. And then what happened is you'll find a couple of usually there's a couple of nice females in the same area or on that same pattern. But because Hogan was like that, Hogan had a couple of giant fish in the same little spawning area that I found right at the last minute. And it was so like, no, that's been the story of my life. But then I've just been going to different lakes instead of going back for those fish the next day or something, because that's what I should do, and go get like double digits and eights right now. I could be doing that, but I just like, well, I go to the lake and, I seen them. It can be frustrating, going back for them. You can get them, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like once I've been there, you guys don't want to see a return trip. I don't know. I got to learn to hold my fishing trips and release them different times too, just for like entertainment purpose. Because I could go to a lake and maybe make a couple videos out of one trip, especially if I'm catching, let's say, 60 fish a day or something like that. Then you just like say you caught 20 of them on the drop shot or something, then make a drop shot video, right? And then before and after, like an intro, and then in the middle of it and at the end, you can do it where, or I can, I don't know you guys, but you know what I mean, where I explain, what's going on and kind of narrate a bit of it, and then put it all together and do that with mind while I'm at the lake, so that I can actually throw intros in, or hey, this is how I'm using it, yada yada, this is what I'm doing, and then make a drop shot video. And then say I caught 20 of them on the Ned rig, then do a Ned rig video, like how do I set the hook, what gear, what line do I use, how do I usually fish the Ned rig, which common ways do I fish it during what types of time of the year, and what are the cool little modification or tricks that I've seen with Ned rig, like skirted Ned rigs, weedless Ned rigs, the full size, minis, gobies. They're using long trick worms now on a Z-Man's making. So you can put rattles in them. That's kind of my secret that I kind of gave out, is I put rattles in my worms. And not all of them, but sometimes. And what I'll do is I'll take a wacky rig or a Nico rig or a shaky head or a drop shot, right? And at the very tail of the worm, I like to, if it's thick enough, I'll insert, because the rubber, or the, it's kind of elastic and it'll stretch around it, and I'll insert a rattle into the tail, and when the bait moves, it's like a little rattlesnake, and when the fish are active, that seems to be like they pick it up and boom. They don't just like tick tick. They just, you feel that. It's almost like a reaction bite. It's so awesome. And I'll throw that instead of on a spinning rod. I'll throw that on a bait caster with like 12 to 15 pound test, and I'll use a slightly bigger hook, and I'll just use a heavy Nico nail weight that's, not too heavy but enough to get me up shallow and bottom bounce with that thing, and it's, doing that whole bending action, and the tail is whipping and rattling and making noises. That's actually one of my biggest little secrets that I've been fishing lately. Um, hey, fishing time. Let's go. Boats and hose, boats and hose, boats and hose. But I'll give you my tip. I probably shouldn't do this. I keep my little thing of Dawn hand soap in the boat, and before I touch any lures, any rods, I wash my hands. Yep. You don't even want to know. Like, there's some offensive jokes that I could tell that we actually, like, our little crew of fishing guys, when we were fishing together, we had a little slang term that we would call ourselves, because we would always know, like, you you didn't go fishing with smells on your hands, right? So it was one of either two ways. You had to be super clean, so you had to wash up, no smells, no nothing, right? And clean up all really good before the trip, and don't touch anything that's like really unnatural, right? And just try to keep your hands clean. You eat before you do all that. You can get all out there excited. But the other one is, don't wash them at all. Have them as dirty as possible, right? That was the joke. And so they're all natural. And it's like scented, basically. We were joking. And we had a funny name that I'm not going to say, but yeah. So we used to always joke about that. Like, uh, I was always on the keep your hands clean, kind of keep your, don't smoke too much, or don't like handle too much. But I'm over here, I break the rules sometimes. Like, one thing I'm super guilty of is I like playing music when I get bored. When there's nothing biting for a minute, I set the phone to YouTube and I put like some music on, and that it blares too. My phone's loud, and I set it down, and I start whacking fish. It's almost like the music calls the damn suckers. And then I got friends with me. They're like, "Turn the music off," and it's like, I know that there are times, like, I'm gonna be dead serious. I know there are times that when you are loud, you're gonna scare the fish, right? That happens. But I'm gonna tell you guys a little story, and just a little bit. If you've watched any of my fishing videos for a while, you caught me many times. If you're watching and listening, you'll hear music playing in the background while I'm catching a fish on my phone, and I'll bend down usually to turn it off. Or sometimes you'll notice that it's muted, like there's no sound for a brief moment, and then all of a sudden the sound kicks in. That's because, like, I was playing loud music and I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I go in there and I mute that section, right? So we'll read some comments right here. Windy as hell. It's supposed to be super windy, like 17 miles an hour. So that's what I'm expecting it to be Saturday. But sundown, usually the wind dies down and it's windy only during the daytime. Let's hope. That's how it was Thursday. The wind died as soon as like it got about 7:30, something like that. The wind died down. We got off the lake like half an hour after the sun went down, and thank God the wind had settled down. But yeah, that place is scary at dark, man. You smashing into stuff, and I fish like a turtle there at dark. So we're gonna get to like an area or two and just fish it. You know what I mean? And take our time and be real thorough with it. But yeah, it was crazy. So, Eastman's a trip for sure. Super shallow lake, especially right now. And there's a lot of stuff that isn't marked that you got to watch out for. So, but Anyways, I'm going to tell you guys a story real quick. So we're at the Future Pro Tour where we're fishing against some guys right now who are either pro, also guides, have won big giant tournaments like Christian Ostrander, dudes like, um, like Matt Frazier. I don't know if Christian was in them then. I think he was, but it was 2012 and there were a lot of big names that were fishing in the Future Pro Tour with us at that time, and we're talking 100 to 120 boat tournaments sometimes, right? And giant payouts. Winner get caught, 3 to 5 grand, easy. Especially if you had big fish and all that too. Oh man, you were set. So one time, this is just nuts. So we usually go out to Folsom and get our asses handed to us, or we do all right. So we go out there and it gets pretty damn windy. We're in a rubber raft. This is how we've been fishing with the ice chest and bubblers. We're in a rubber raft with a 2.5 outboard horsepower motor and an anchor, I think, and then a trolling motor. And uh, he had the trolling motor back there and the big motor back there. It's kind of side by side. He had the trolling motor like side mounted, and he had the big motor directly mounted like this. And it was on a Seahawk 2500 or 250, a little 69.99 like 4-man boat, 6-man boat. The cheap ones though that are less than like $80 that you can get at a Big Five or a Walmart. So we were in one of them suckers. I'm in the front, and we smash all the way across Folsom. It takes us like 45 minutes to get there, and we were timing it and everything. And people are zipping around. People are looking at us like, "What the hell?" Right? And and so we get to the spot where we knew there was fish because we had won a tournament last year there, and it was our only go-to spot at the time. As we pre-fished and got one fish, and we didn't mess with our spot. We left it alone. It was brutal. So we said we're going to our spot. So we went all the way across the lake, and it's to the back of the marina, right? So we're at the back of the marina, Folsom, right there, and there's all these bass boats in there fishing, and we're in there fishing, right? And we sit in one spot. There's this creek that comes in, and there's some trees in the middle, and then the riprap rock wall starts, and it makes like a big 90, and there's a point right there, and then it wraps around, and all the floating docks and stuff are in there. And it's you come into the marina from this way, right, from the main lake, and there's a creek in the back, and the point of that is where like the marina starts, and where the shore is all protected from corrosion or from erosion and stuff like that. So it's got the riprap like the Delta does. Well, we sat right there and dropped an anchor because we didn't have spot lock, didn't have any of that shit. And we proceeded to catch like 20 something pounds, probably 21, or no, not, just like a massive bag of bass. We catch right there, right? We catch them in just a couple hours, and we don't move. People are looking at us like, what the hell? Boats are coming in and out, frustrated, can't catch any fish anywhere. And we're making this same cast in 10, 15 feet of water, a little bit right here, and then a little bit around that point on that riprap, or out into the trees about 20, 30 feet away from that point, and all in that little channel like that, bringing it out to us, bottom bouncing and throwing Cincos and weightless Cincos, or just little bullet weights on them, and just working worms and stuff, drop shotting. We sat there all day for like 4 hours, right? And just whacked them. We destroyed the spot till you couldn't catch another fish, right? And we didn't care because we didn't want to leave it and have guys roll up and fish it. So we fished that beezy out until we weren't catching any fish. And I'm talking, we went through 30, 20 or 30 easy 2 to 3 pound plus bass, right? And there's bass fishermen watching this, they're hella mad. And so here's the tale of, here's really where the story gets interesting, right? So there's all these bass boats in there, right? and we're in a rubber raft looking like some hokies, right? Some straight up hillbillies from hell in the middle of Folsom with all these baller millionaire houses everywhere, giant boats going by, rich $100,000 bass boats all around us, right? And no one's catching a thing. We're just tearing them up, right? And this old dude comes out and he starts yelling at us that we can't fish right there, and we're more than so many yards away from the marina, away from the docks, not fishing out. There's dudes fishing way closer all around right in front of him, and he comes out and he starts, and I flip out, right? I'm in the boat about 4 or 5 feet away at this point because we had driven up to first to see what he wanted, but we still kind of blocked that spot off, and we pulled out away from shore. We're like, what? Because he was yelling at us. He's like, you can't fit. He started getting all crazy. And we tried to be nice. And then he even got more mean and just was saying dumb shit. And I don't know. I started seeing red. I was like, I'm going to get out this boat and kick your ass, old man. I was like, fuck you. Pardon the language. I was like, I'm going to get out and throw you in the lake. I was like, you see us in our little inflatable raft. You think we're like out here stealing shit or doing dumb shit or whatever, and you don't say nothing to all these bass boats right here. I said, F you. I said, you want to do something, fool? I said, I will get out the boat right now. I was hella mad. I was turning red and shit. I was shaking. And I was like, because I knew, because he was like, you look out and you see these two like kids basically we're like 25, 26 or 20, something like that. Or no, we're like 28, you know, and yeah, 28 years old, and just tearing it up, catching all these fish. And I just must have frustrated the hell out of old man, or those were his pet fish or something. But he came out and picked on us, and there was like 3 bass boats around us, right? So I got hella mad, threw a big old fit. But lucky, right before that happened, we stopped getting bit. So I cause a big old scene, tell him I'm gonna kick his ass. I get hella mad. He goes and hides in his little thing. And I told him, F off. You said he's in costume. I said, go ahead and screw you. And even other people were like, damn, he was being hella rude to you guys. And they're like, we're, a lot of, and other bass boat guys were like, yeah, that was messed up. And I was like, what? We were like, whatever. So we pulled out, right? And we're like, what do we do now? We just lost our only spot, but we're ready to go way in, but we still got almost half the tournament left. So we hang a right, and I don't know how far down, but we seen all these flooded trees, and we're like, oh, we want to go, let's go fish those. And so we pull up, but it's in this cove right here, and the flooded trees are right here. And we round the corner, and in this cove are houseboats, jet skis, ski boats, and like 50, 60 people or something, or at least 30, right? A massive group of, I mean, hot chicks too. And they're just all dancing, loud music, boom, boom, boom. And like the jet skis, they're going in circles, right? And the trees that we want to fish are right there. I'm talking 20, 30 feet away. So we go around them. He puts us all the way around them, and then comes to the trees from the back end and pulls us right inside of them, because this is big area. And it's probably like 8 to 10 feet deep, and there's these giant pines, and they were underwater, right? And this was when Folsom was super full. It was like 2012. And so uh, I tell them, we pull up, and I'm all butt hurt. I'm like, I want to go back. Screw that old man. I'm like, I want to catch more fish. It's like, we're not going to catch shit here. You could just hear this raging party, and there's waves coming from the jet skis, right? Jeremy's like, nah, watch. And we started fishing, and I'm all talking shit. Screw this spot. Blah, blah, blah. Boom, fish on. It's like a 4 pounder, like plow. So I start fishing. Next thing you know, we throw out nearly every fish that we had from that first spot. And now we just upgraded big time, and we're sitting on like 5 4 pounders or something like that or more. And it was just like mind boggling. And we're just like, oh, and we knew it took 45 minutes to get back to the weigh-in, right? So it was like 2:15, like we had, or 2 o'clock. It was like we had to go. We were still catching fish. And I'll still never forget, we didn't have a coal system and we didn't have our scale with us. So we got to a point where we were holding fish up, holding them next to each other, turning them sideways, and asking each other which fish we thought was bigger, honestly. And we were gauging them and checking them out and dumping fish back. And so we were eyeball culling. It got that ruthless, but we were catching big ones, right? And so we end up having to leave, and they're still biting, and there's this raging monster party going on right next door, just huge. I'm talking the loudest, badass looking party. Like, I wanted to go party. I was ready to weigh in. I was like, I'm coming back here. It was wicked. That's how it was. Just wow, that's how crazy it was. And the fish were on fire, right? So we hightail it back, and the way we weigh in, we putt and we pull up and we barely nudge the boat to shore. And we have to get out and lift the front up so we don't pop it, and drag it up real slow. And then we have to kind of get in and then lift it and then set it down so you don't tear the raft. We took good care of it. So that's why we fished actually like a whole year in a raft, a year and a half actually, and got a bunch of all our trophies came in that raft. So we then we get the ice chest, right? So then we get the ice chest with the bubblers. And then we had a little Geo Metro, like a little tiny two-door coupe car. And we put the bass in the back seat or on the trunk or something, and one of us is like walking with the car because we're in line, right? So we get in line to weigh in, and there's all these big lifted trucks with all these bass boats with power poles and super duper this and that, right? And we're all in line. And me and Jeremy were cracking jokes, and we had a great day. We caught like 40, 50 fish or something. We don't know. It was the most insane, epic fishing day ever. To this day, it's probably our best enjoyed day fishing, hands down, ever. Whatever. It was just insane. And we go in to weigh in, and uh, right? And from we're about 4 or 5 cars from first place, and you start getting or from the weigh-in, not first place, from the weigh-in, and you start pulling up, right? And the guys are checking live wells or just like watching and checking things, right? They see the looks on our face. Well, we don't know how everyone else did. We assumed everyone had a great day too. Apparently, this is one of those days where no one had a limit barely, where there were massive amounts of boats that blanked it, that weighed one fish in, two fish in, three fish in. Some guys barely had 5 fish limits. Second place was like 11, 12 pounds, right? So we don't know this, right? So we're rolling up all dee 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 dee. We got these smiles on our face, and there was a dude who had been fishing the tournament too, but he's pro staff, so he pulls in a little early, right? And then he's up there helping, and so he's sitting there and he sees us and he comes up and he goes, "What you guys got? About 20 pounds or something?" And me and Jeremy go, "Yeah, something like that, 18 to 20." And the guy goes, "What the?" And he opens. He goes, "Let me look." Opens the live well, and his eyes go big as saucers. He starts calling everybody over. Everyone comes up, and we're in our little Geo Metro, right? Pointing. Oh, what the hell? And they're like, you could tell they were fulsome bass. They were just big, beautiful, monster spotted bass with like 2 or 3 fat largies and like, yeah, 3 fat largies and 2 monster spots. I think one was like 5 pounds. And so we go to weigh in, and yeah, we just crushed everyone. And we were just beaming from ear to ear. We told our story, we were all smiling. That's the story of this trophy right here. So Folsom right there. And to this day, that's where I'm not super crazy on being quiet. I don't, you never know if it's going to be, maybe the noise attracts some shit. So, uh, I play music and I catch mad fish while I do it. So it frustrates the hell out of some people who fish with me, though. It's so funny. I had to tell that story. I know it's a big old long winded rant, but I had to bring you guys in on that inside joke. So when I go fishing, if you go back and watch any of my videos, I guarantee you're gonna be like, holy shit, you're gonna hear music playing in the background from my phone, or you'll hear, or what you'll see is you'll notice that for the first 5 to 10 seconds, maybe there's no sound, no audio. And then all of a sudden the audio kicks in. That's because I erased over a song and didn't want to get copyright strikes. So, anyways, let's read some comments, and we'll go over some of Eastman's trip. Did you steer on this call? Angler picked up his jig, so. Oh, dude, I know where the monsters are at New Hogan, Gerbs. If you go over there, uh, I'll have to, I'll send you some pin drops on a map if you want. So, did you hear the story? That story of Ish Monroe co-angler picked up his jig to look at it, and he flipped on him. He doesn't like anyone touching his bait. I could imagine. I don't know. I've actually fished against him and with him in a couple of tournaments at Don Pedro with Ryan Cook, and it was fun. I love his crankbaits, but him personally, I don't know. I know some people can be like that. Just some people have bad days too, though. And maybe that was, something that set him off, or there was something particular about that co-angler before that happened, and we got a snippet into the window. I don't know, because I've had my bad moments too, but I'm a real nice guy and I get along with almost everybody. But if you took a snippet in time, like of me at Folsom, it was like Donald Duck, like pissed off, hopping and foaming and ready to fight, hella mad because like my honor had been besmirched. Like, how dare he mess with us? And there's boat like 10 feet away. Like, what the hell are you smoking, old man? Like, I know why you're calling us out. It's $100,000 bass boat there, $60,000 bass boat there, $50 floatable inflatable thing with two crackhead looking fools in it. That's what they're probably thinking. Won't touch that shit. But I was just, like mad, real mad inside. So, anyways, but yeah, I could see him doing that. I don't know. I could see anybody doing it. So I don't, it sucks too when you find out some of your idols are really kind of pieces of trash. Like, I really loved Tom Hanks and all that. Found out, man, all the crazy stuff. It's like, wow, dude, really? One by one, your idols get knocked down to when you find out, what you weren't supposed to find out. It's crazy. I keep a little alcohol in Zip orange cleaner degreaser, and I scrub all my lures the night before I go fishing so they're nice and shiny. I can't even get the dirt marks out of the plastic. Here's told me to join. Love the channel. Alfonso Vargas, thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate it. Salt Springs is on fire, wide open. Oh, super duper. Marco, how's it going? Salt Springs is a great spot. So, yeah, definitely. I would think right now there's probably lots of 2 pound buck males up shallow at Salt Springs. You could probably catch a ton of those. If you fish a little bit off, maybe, or probably even some reaction right now, there's probably a ton of nice fat post spawn females that are hungry. They'll be hitting fry right now, so you can either drop shot them or finesse them, or I'm sure you can probably jerk bait or crankbait and reaction them. Just fish near structure or any weed clumps, outside weed edges, around pockets of vegetation and crap, around open water. Because you got to think what happens, spawn, all the eggs hatch, right? And different waves give it, but you got millions of fry, billions of fry all throughout the lake, right? And the males protect them until they go from microscopic to like about 1 inch. It's almost like when they hit 3/4 of an inch, I'd say that's about it. Soon as the fry hit like 3/4 of an inch, boom, the bass turn on them. It's a feeding frenzy. There's no more protection. It's all out warfare. And when that happens, Mostly the males are doing that. The females are usually after things like bluegill, whatever bigger things are in there, because after the bass spawn, bluegill spawn. So if your fishery has bluegill or any panfish, crappie, something like that, they'll come up to spawn. So the big mamas are going to be looking for something like that. If your water has trout or other stuff in it, they might go after that for a post spawn meal, or they'll take even another smaller bass. But they will also turn on the babies if there's not a lot of food available, but they just expend a lot of energy for a little bit of a return. So usually you'll find that the females will actually feed on the fry when they're about 2 inches, an inch and a half to 2 inches long. The female will actually key in on those for a couple of months or like a month, right in the late summer, and they'll push them up shallow and just smash them in the rocks. You'll hear all this splashing and noise shallow. That's the bass fry from that year getting destroyed. And only so many of them make it until they're big enough that the bass generally leave them alone unless it's starving. Bass don't like to eat each other when they're pretty big, unless it's either super opportunity or, like they're really hungry or aggressive, I guess you would say. An aggressive bass probably would too. But I've seen that cycle over and over, and I've witnessed it and seen, especially at Kelsey and at all these other places where you've watched the mechanics of it, right? So with that being said, there's a ton of males up shallow right now, but you'll still find the occasional monster female. It just sucks. You got to go through 20, 1.5 to 2.5 pounders before you catch your first 3 or 4 pounder. I don't know about Salt Springs though, but I know that place has got, I fish it. I know about it, but you know what I mean? I can't speak as to what you're catching out there, whether they're big, small, or numbers, but yeah, this time of year is when you should be getting anywhere from 20 to 40 fish a day is easy. You should be, not every day, but you should at least be able to eke out, 10, 15 a person. So, hey, Danny's Kitchen. Nice to see you on. Hey, Mike Dozer, we got your lures here. I talked about that earlier. What's up with these guys saying buy this reel rod and uses another rod reel brand? I don't know. Bass fishing is a right for everyone, right? Hell yeah, I got on a rant. I got mad. Dude tried to kick me out of Folsom. How is Eastman, brother? We're going to talk about that right now. So we're catching up. Sorry, I just had to go on my rant, talk about that story. It was hilarious. But hey, where is the River Rat tournament at? It's going to be Lake Eastman this Saturday night. I think it starts at 6. Fish need to party too. Hell yeah. Wow, that is badass. Yo, how goes it? Young Nate type. Hey, sup, Cam say. How do you think the cold weather on Sunday will affect the fishing? It's going to slow them down and back them off. So we're going to talk about Eastman right now. And there's a lot of wind. So I'll tell you what, right now, I seen a gargantuan out at Eastman, something that, let's just say a minimum. If I pulled out the water, I would stake my career on it being at least 8 plus, right? But I would realistically put the sucker between 10 and 12 easy, maybe even like 12, 11, 12. It was just a beast, gigantic. You'd see it clear as day, and it followed one of my lures right into the damn boat. And the crazy thing is, I thought I had a nibble on that cast, and just it barely felt. It felt funny, but then it just went back to like I could feel the blades again, and I'm like, But and then I had also missed one in that same damn spot earlier on a spinner bait, right? So then I'm using a crankbait and a jerk bait. So we'll just tell you that I'm using reaction, right? Because it's windy. So I'll bottom bounce, but I'll tell you right now, there's only 2 things I'm going to throw bottom bounce, and you should know what those are. If you're going to throw something in the wind, you should only throw a couple of things like a Texas rig or, a jig or something like that, or something like a shaky head that's heavy, depending on the weight that you go with. I don't recommend tossing a drop shot and other certain things that are super finesse in the wind. You can, but if you really want to get right up on your fish, If you want to make medium cast to them, you use something heavier. The wind won't throw it out the way. But it's been so windy that I've been using reaction, and a gargantuan, I mean a freaking beast, followed my lure in right to the boat, and then like stopped, like looked at me, kind of like did a slow circle, kind of stopped, was looking. I tossed my lure in right past it and to the left and ran it by it, and it looked at it and then kind of looked back at me. Smart little thing. Did another circle and then slowly swam off. And then I stayed in that area, just said, let's give it a try. And within another 5 or 10 minutes, it followed my lure in again. And I was like, oh shit, it's locked in on an area. There must be a bed somewhere here, or maybe it's a fry garter. Maybe the male got picked off or something happened. And this female is here for a reason, because it could have just swam off, but it didn't. It swam away and then went back to wherever it was where I pulled it from. And I made the same exact damn cast, and sure enough, pulled it right back again. And then I got flipped out. I was hysterical, right? Throwing every damn lure in the mama at this whole area. I'm talking Bill Dance fan casting, right? Like hammering the same area, but then also out this way, that way, whatever, right? And I was dragging worms and dragging jigs and throwing reaction, and I was throwing everything under the sink, switching back and forth, a few casts with this, a few casts with that, trying to get this. And in doing so, I caught three 2-pound males out of that little area. And each time I was like, so my heart almost exploded when I got rammed or bit on my reaction stuff. And thinking this was it. And like almost an hour into it, I'm pissed and I'm like ready to go somewhere, or an hour and a half maybe, and I'm ready to leave because I only have like 3 fish. And sure enough, that beezy follows my lure in a third time. I'm so mad. So I fish another half hour and I don't see her again. I just tail out of there. I know where she's at. I'm gonna go try for her Saturday, and try to lock the spot down. If someone's got it, I'll play low key stupid, wait for him to leave because people will cover water. So I know what it's gonna take to catch this bitch. So I'll pull up real slow and slide from far away, and we'll throw a couple of specific lures right out the gate, and do some things with them to try to get them to bite. And we got a couple different options, I think. And if it doesn't work, it don't work. Then we go about game plan B. But yeah, I seen an absolute tank. Other than that, fishing was remarkably well all over the board. There were times when they were extremely active and they were picking up your bait and smashing off with it. There were times when we were using reaction and power fishing and we were just getting crushed. Boom, getting them on the crankbait, the spinner bait, got them on jigs, got them on Nico rigs, got them on Texas rig, got them on freaking damn near everything we threw at them, got them on jerk bait. You know, it was just crazy, but the fishing wasn't like super good. It was weird. It was like fish every 30 minutes, but there was two of us in the boat. So after 6 7 hours, 6 hours, maybe sometimes 3 fish every hour, you would have we had like 15 or more each or something like that. We caught like 30 fish or so, but I maybe even more than that, I don't know. But I kept my best five to take pictures with, and or not pictures, but to shoot a little video with. So that video will be out soon. But I would guesstimate our weight for our best five being somewhere between 8.5 and 10 pounds. It was tough to find size, but I did see the monster. Now I know what'll work to get 5 males, and I know what'll work to get 5 decent males. We ruled that out, right away. We fished a little bit into the night. We figured out what it would take to catch fish. Kind of became simple then, but finding bigger fish became the problem. So once we have our 5 from our more simple methods, I'll tell you guys right now, I'm going to power fish the hell out of that place, and I'll live or die by it. It's either going to work or it won't. So basically what I'm going to be doing is getting up tight and casting extremely close to trees, branches, logs, laydowns, weed edges, grass edges, even little short casts like a delta where I'll pull up to a spot with my trolling motor on a lower speed and make a cast with, say, a crankbait or a spinner bait and roll it right along the shore's edge in like 6 inches of water. Just rolling it, keeping my stuff moving around, almost like a wake bait. And you can see sometimes big bass, boom, will come up and smash it right up against the shore. Or I'll take it, maybe use it a foot or two out, right, and do similar stuff. And then if I see a tree right here, I'll make a cast on the left side of the tree, slow roll the spinner bait until I bump into the side of the tree and come around it, and then cast on the right side of it, and slow roll my spinner bait and then turn around and see a little point or a little jutting out rock, right past a rock and bring it right along the tip, or sweep it in even if you can, right? And just break each spot down like the delta, and I'm casting in every little hole, every little place. I'm fishing slow, don't move too fast, but I'm power fishing. And that's how I drew out the big mama. So I'm hoping that if once we get our 5, that we live or die by the sword, all we need is that one. If we can get 2 or 3 big ones, even just 4 pluses, I think we'd be great. Usually at nighttime, the bigger fish come out anyways. There's some other tip or top water, as well. I was meaning to say, like, top water can be really key and good as well. But there's a lot of debris in the water. It could look like clear water, and there'll be a piece of wood just underneath, or just the branch sticking up that you can't see. Your treble hook snag it. If you're using something like a spook or a whopper plop or something with trebles. But top water can work really good at night. So I plan on power fishing that place is basically all I'm going to do, because I know I can finesse fish, but I power fished and we still caught over 30 fish or more, probably 30 to 40, 15 to 20 fish each, throwing things like crankbaits and spinner baits and jerk baits and jigs and swim baits and stuff, like big stuff, like not big swim baits, but like Kitex. We threw everything and we caught fish on them. And once we caught a couple, we would change to something else, and we couldn't get any size difference, which led me to believe that it's the location of where we're fishing that is producing all of the more smaller fish, would be the males. So if you fish a little bit deeper, the bigger fish are probably out there. And I've seen a ton of them on the fish finder. They just look like they would be hard to get to bite. I think I might need to take a deep diving crankbait. There's so much wood in there. But the thing is you can take your deep diving crankbait, and if you're in 15, 20 feet of water and you see fish down there in 12, 3-5 feet off the bottom, and I seen a lot of those big signatures. Some of them I think were carp, but some of them I'm pretty sure were bass. And I seen a couple of them in the big schools of fry. You could see the clouds on your fish finder, and then you'd see the big signature and the little signature. I was like, holy shit, look at this little family right there. It's like, look at the mama. And then there's probably the dad, yeah. Then there's a little school of fry. At least that's how it'd look, and I'd see that quite often, or either multiple fish, like literally 3 or 4 fish and a school of fry. And in most of the places I've been catching them, the bass are already throwing up little baby fry. So they're probably also just down there eating them right now more than they are protecting them. I think that stage is over for most of them. But if the late spawners, there's going to still be fry garters up shallow that aren't eating them yet, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different phases going on right now. But at Hogan and at Eastman, fish were spitting up baby bass left and right. So that's another little tip for you. Now let's read some comments here. Where's the... How do you think the cold weather on Sunday will affect the fishing? What's up, bro? Keeping it real. How's it going? Why is California so many dinks? Florida, Texas, bigger fish? Good question. I actually, the river rat tourney is in Lake Eastman. Do I have your number? Sunday sound good. Give you a call. No, brother. If you can, no, I haven't fed him yet. If you can, message me on Facebook. Send me your number. That way, even if I do have it, that way it's front and center. I gotta go looking for it. and then yeah, we'll meet up Sunday or something. But why is California so many dinks? We got monsters here too, but great question, Jason. You got the same last name as me. I'm just a 2T Matthews, so I'm Matthews, but Matthews family, right? But why is California so many dinks? Florida, Texas bigger. So this the Lunker Share program mainly, and the fact that all of our lakes here, we don't stock with bass basically anymore. So fish and game and other fisheries and any kind of programs, nobody dumps monster bass in our lake. Or like in Florida and Texas, there will actually be breeders and engineers. What do you call them? Biologists, fish biologists. So like a biological engineer who would engineer the fish or just try to genetically, mess with them, or either just like not like that, but by breeding just the biggest and best bass to create the biggest and best genetics, right? And then they take these genetics and they release those into the lakes. And then they'll even dump big ones into the lakes. And then they have like limits where slot limits, where they basically want you taking fish that are in a certain range so that the fisheries maintain better, and less of the lunkers basically die, um, or get ate, or just can't eat and don't become big. And it's all about fish management. And here in the state of California, one thing, you can go to like a mud puddle like Eastman, and damn near in the summer when there shouldn't be, there'll be big waves of trout swimming around. Like what the hell? Because every once in a while the fish and game or whoever goes and dumps trout into our lakes, like into McClure, into Pedro, into McSwain, into Maloney's, all these lakes. They get trout dumped in them regularly, right? Of course, the bass eat those trout, but it makes those bass hella hard to catch here in California. That's why the swim bait started here. But what happens is like the focus is on trout instead of bass, and then you have people showing up and not really being educated on why you shouldn't eat the big ones, and why if you're really going to eat fish, take home 2.5 3 pound and below, and take home, but you don't want to eat so many of those because those are the ones that spawn usually. But the thing is bass will spawn almost all the way until death. So you can have an ancient bass that's really huge that still spawns, but yes, some bass will after so many years stop spawning. So it's kind of like a myth, but it's kind of true at the same time. If you have like people that fish a fishery too much for food, and they keep the spawning size bass, you're going to mess with that lake's population of fish, and then and that's never the greatest thing either. But it's all about fish management here. You know, we don't stock any monsters first of all, so they're not growing 10 pounders and then releasing them into our lakes like they do in Texas and other places. Or even if they're not doing that, the genetics, the Lunker Share program, they're releasing thousands or hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of baby Hercules bass. Bass that look like, when they're this big, instead of looking like a little trout, like a little minnow, these things look like freaking guppies, bass that are like this big, like little freaking swimming golf balls, just looking like they're ready to explode. Um, and they don't do that here, so it sucks. And the most screwed up thing is a fishing license in Texas doesn't cost what it does here. So we pay all this money, taxes, we pay all this crap out the nose. Our entry fee to our lakes is more expensive. Our fishing license is more expensive. Two pole stamps, this and that. Everything here is more expensive, and yet we do have good fish, but we don't have any return on our investment. The state isn't taking our money and properly maintaining the fisheries for what the majority of fishermen are paying into. The state's still like on the 1970s ticket or something, or 80s ticket of like planting trout everywhere because they think we're all trout fishermen or something. I don't know what the hell their gig is, but they don't plant any bass. They don't see the economics and the finances of it because people come to California because it's California, beautiful and awesome, right? Why, why? But so that kind of mentality is people come here. They don't come here for fishing, right? California is, I think, the idiots that rule this state. They don't understand what part of the opportunity they have to bring tourists here strictly for fishing. People do come to this state just for Clear Lake, just for the Delta, just to fish certain fisheries because they're epic, right? They have these reputations of having monsters. Yet, like Texas, will have way more of those big fish caught because they breed and they take care of their fish correctly. And so a lot of people right now spend money going to Airbnbs, going to hotels, booking flights, eating food, spending money at local restaurants, fast food joints, bait shops, then in gasoline stores, whatever stops, and they go hit the lakes, right? Boat rentals, whatever, and go fish those lakes. People do that for tourism. So if California had a lunker share program like Texas had, people would be coming here for the great weather, for the mountains, for the ocean, blah blah too. But they'd come here for fishing as well, and specifically for fishing. I don't know if they understand how much money is involved. Like could be made, right? The return on investment is massive. You just have to be able to see the bigger picture. You're going to have to invest some money up front, but it's not a lot actually. You just need to get some fish, specialists basically, cooking up some fish labs and growing just baby monsters, and then on the routine, instead of stocking trout, start just stocking monster bass. And it would probably be easy to do to have trout farms just cordon off a section and then go and add bass to their list of fish that they grow, and get them the right genetics and have the right biologists there to maintain them and breed them or whatever, and then start dumping those bass in said lakes. And 10 years later, dude, this place is going to be like, it would be legendary. And there would be a ton of influx of fishing money, Like I would love to go to Texas just to go fish like San Rayburn or Lake Fork or whatever, a bunch of these other like epic lakes, Okeechobee in Florida, right? I would love to go do that. It's just, do I have the money? No, I don't. Now, if I did, hell yeah, I would, in a heartbeat. If I was rich or well off, I'd be spending money to go do stuff like that, and they would get my hard-earned cash because they have that reputation. If we had it here, it'd be the same thing. So long-winded answer. Great question though. Um, yeah, McClure needs to be harvested big time. Lots of the 15-inch. I would say anything from 13 to about 15, maybe 16 inches need to have like a massive culling and fish fry down there. And don't devastate the population, but if you could like literally knock it in half almost, that would help tremendously. And also stock the damn place with a few more largemouth would be great. There's largemouth there, but they got to compete with these highly aggressive, extremely fast spotted bass. And like I said, there's trout eaters and monsters in there, but there should be a lot more average bass, but they don't have much to eat. They got to compete with all these stupid spotted bass. So the few ones that do get there, they become trout eaters basically. Just like poor deer management, Robert Avila. Great point. Exactly. Like the Tule elk problem that they got out in Los Banos, because I think what they migrated Tule elk there from somewhere else and then didn't check them and didn't allow for hunting or something, and now they're like everywhere. So got a long drive to film tomorrow. Y'all be safe in tight lines. RC Creative, thanks for jumping on tonight. If you're already gone, peace, brother. We'll see you on the next one if you see this later. But if you're still here, appreciate you joining tonight. Jason Matthews, they don't care about bass here, only salmon and trout. Exactly. So update barbecue. I wish we had the share lunker program here. Yeah, we gotta lobby for it. Bass fishermen got to start uniting. Someone's got to pick up the flag at some point and then start rallying enough people, and then you can get laws made. You can get special interest piked if you honestly stir the pot enough. But who's going to do that? Who's got the money, the following, or the reputation? I don't. I'm just a little guy. So I could definitely squeak and squawk and yell all I am, but I'm an ant, right? Get stepped on real quick. Need bigger guys that are professional anglers from California to start saying things to even just regardless if we had a Republican or Democrat, whoever, but just start talking in the ears of people like Newsom and Pelosi or whoever the hell's running the show around here, that where you got to go to it, start presenting things in a business manner, start rallying support, show that you've got already this many signatures or people behind your back, but have a detailed plan, not just screaming and yelling like, we want bigger fish. We'd sound like lunatics. But if we could explain why what's going on is happening and how it would benefit them financially and the environment, let's say, then they'd be all aboard, especially if you have enough stink where they have to address it. Because then if you can get on the news or you can get enough followers, you start getting talked about on by major channels on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, and you start making a splash, then they kind of have to address it. And if you come at it in a really logical, prepared manner, then when they do address it, that's your opportunity where you don't fumble the ball and you get your shot, right? But that's easier said than done. But for sure, I would love the lunker program here as well. Update on the barbecue. So yes, I am wanting to hold a meet and greet, get together, barbecue where I want to supply the food. Just nobody sue me if you get sick. I'll cook everything fully. But this is basically not like some formal gathering. I don't have insurance and crap like that. So there's all like stupid rules, right? If you were to go like rent a place, but we'll pick a lake or pick somewhere where we can all meet up. We'll have a barbecue. I'm looking at probably getting a ton of tri-tip ribs, probably some taco meat, stuff like that, chicken or something, and have a big old barbecue. Maybe some hot dogs or hamburgers or something, but also have some good meat, some potato salad, stuff like that. Maybe uh, some chips and stuff, and then whatever. If we want something to be healthy, maybe some like veg dip and some vegetables or something, and some sour cream dip or something. Um, but anyways, have like a barbecue get together. I'm gonna get some lures, some prizes together, and we'll do like some games and some like raffle that doesn't cost anything type thing, where everyone who attends gets a ticket, and then we'll give some things away so you don't have to pay for that. But I'm probably going to bring a couple of special items from here, and then do a side raffle where just to help cover some of the costs, like probably not even, I go all out, so probably won't even cover 1/10 of the cost. But if I did recover half or whatever, did do good, whatever. But if not, either way, but the idea still would be the same, is to probably grab a couple of really nice items, some autograph stuff, some big name like Jose Canseco or Shaquille O'Neal or, you know, McGuire or whatever. Bring a nice Frank Gore, Jeff Garcia autographed jersey, a couple, I got autographed bats, baseballs. I even got movie items. I got a lot of cool stuff. I got collectibles too. I got some Ty Cobb cards. So I'm thinking about bringing a couple of things and then, selling some raffle tickets for those. And if people are interested, if not, I just pack the things up and be glad, just as glad not to sell them, because I collect stuff. But obviously, I'm a huge Niner fan, so there's stuff that I've always been collecting just because I want it and I'll never sell it. And then there's stuff that when I say, "Ooh, that's neat," and I got a decent price for it, and then I could sell it and make 20, 30 bucks on one thing real quick, great. That's, what I'll do sometimes. And if I don't sell it, it's cool for my collection. It's kind of how I look at it. So I might bring some really cool things out there. As far as a date, I know I'm fishing Clear Lake. I think the 12th, 13th, 14th, maybe the 15th. So I think I have some plans for June, early June as well. So it's probably going to be, we'll probably have to do it either soon. Well, I don't know. Maybe this, no, probably going to have to do it like late May. So probably like the 21st or something of May. And, you know, I'm going to look on a calendar, make sure I don't have anything going on, try to look at what I think the weather will be. We'll wait till it's about 10 days away. Then, once I'm sure, I'll have a date picked, and then I'll pick a spot. Then I'll start blasting it on Facebook. So everybody will get a notice on Bass Fishing Lovers if you're part of our Facebook page that I created. That damn thing's got like almost 30,000 members now. It's like I wish I started this little page a year ago when I got kicked out of a different page because the dude's kind of a douche. And I was just being real and saying something, and he got all offended. And it's like, shoot, I don't care. You're the one that started it. He was the one that even brought it up. And I've known the dude like most of my life, right? A little bit, not a lot, but I've known him when we were kids. We've met a couple times. So the town I'm from is a small town. So I got kicked out of his little group, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go start my own. So I started my own. Damn thing's got 30,000 people from it already. It's like, wow. But a lot of Facebook people are kind of self-serving. They pop up on there to drop their videos, their things, and then they don't care about anybody else's stuff. They don't browse it. They don't interact. I try not to be like that. I'll interact, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'll drop some stuff on Facebook, and I might not be on it for a day or two because just get busy. Bunch of kids, my own company that I run, doing these videos here, fishing on every other day that I can, and all that crap too. So I don't have a lot of free time to do that kind of stuff. But any cooler talk going on around the locals? I wish we had the Share Lunker program. Why do fishermen hate each other? That's a good one. I'll be there. Keep us updated. Need some of those shirts looking good. Heck yeah. RC Creative made this one for me. Talk about unwritten rules of bass fishing and people slowing down to watch you fish your spots. Uh, yeah, what'll happen is people get kind of interested to see what you're doing, especially if they've seen you catch a fish or two and they just maybe haven't recently. I can kind of understand it. um, it's like a little nosy. I don't mind people doing it. I've done it myself, just interested. But I've tried to tell myself, don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Use my own skills, figure it out. Or if I got someone on the boat, I'll ask them and I'll pay attention to them. And with the two of us doing different, I try doing different stuff than whatever the other guy's doing. And then whatever's working, then I'll either switch to that or I'll pay attention to were you working it fast, slow, deep, blah, blah. And then I'll apply that to whatever I'm using. And usually the little modifications or adjustments are all that was needed. And then you start catching fish. So I'm usually not too spy happy watching other people. You got a lot of mixed bag with fishermen. So you got some guys that are, there's a lot of great guys. Most of us are pretty good people. Some people are just really, even people that have a lot of money are nice people too. I've met some really nice rich people. And then there's just some though that it's like something about it, like the power or the influence or the I'm better than you kind of attitude. And it shows in the way that they act when they'll smash by you, they'll cut you off. They're like in you can tell they're the kind of bass holes when you watch them, right? And they're in their usually upper 40s, lower 50s, mid 50s, very wealthy guys, right? Driving the just most expensive bass boat, and they'll come
peeling near you super fast and wake you out without a thought in the world. Um, and they'll also, when you guys are racing, cut you, try to cut you off just to, and the whole lake's open, but they'll race right along you and shit because they got a 300 or 250. I got a 90 horsepower. Mine goes 45. Of course, they can smash past me, but most guys give you a little bit of distance. You got some guys that'll come within 10, 15 feet, whoa, and just come right past you. Like, there's those kind of dudes. You can tell them by the way they drive. You can tell that they're assholes, that they're probably jerks, they're probably snotty haughty. They in their head there's probably some kind of badass theme song playing, like and they're like going to their destination, like, yeah, fuck you guys, like, I'm better than you guys and I'm badass and with my fancy boat, we're gonna go catch them, screw everyone else, we don't care about you. You know what I mean? They're just smashing next to you, cut you off, drive by you, and you see them in the parking lot. They'll pull out real fast in front of someone who's already ready to pull out. Truck's been started. You see them in the truck, it's running. They got the little blinker on or something. You see them put their seatbelt on or something, and then you hop in, and the truck starts to move, and they just skirt around in front of you. You could tell those assholes a mile away. And so there's a lot, not a lot, but there's some of those guys in bass fishing. If any of my viewers are those guys, say sorry, not, but not sorry. I'm just calling it how it is. Like I said, I know a lot of good people who are wealthy. I know a lot of good people who are semi like that because they're just up, they're go getters, but they're polite though. There's a difference, right? So it's all usually in the attitude, especially if you didn't give them any and you're being real nice or cool, and they're being all jerky, and you're just like, hey, and they're, like, what are you saying to me, type of crap. So on the Delta, if you're going less than 50 miles an hour, you don't have a clue of what's going on. If you're going wide open, do you know exactly what's going on? No, at the Delta, it depends on where you're at. So, some guys, what they'll do, so you got to watch. There's different kinds of boaters. The yachters and the yachters plow through there real slow, but they're going fast. Big boats, so they're pretty fast. They make a massive wake, right? The ski boats, wake smashing through decently, but not too fast. But you got a lot of places in the Delta with curves and turns. And the problem is you can have someone who's fishing, literally late, fishing. It's just a canal or a channel. Let's say it's 20 feet wide, maybe. And you got some that are like that. And, guys will be stopped fishing some stuff, and so boats can come around the corner. You gotta watch, you gotta watch it. Even if you know the Delta, you gotta know if you can see super far ahead of you or far enough ahead of you. It's just like driving a car, then it's no big deal. Go 70 miles an hour if you know the Delta. I smash in the main channel in most of the sloughs, but anywhere sloughs connect and merge, anywhere I see what potentially could be shallowish water, I'll either go around it enough to give it birth, or I'll slow down a bit and check it out. I've ground out a couple of times at the Delta, so I know. But if you know it enough, like Little Frank's track is deceiving. There's a couple parts you can actually get in. Um, on a high tide, it's a little bit easier, but even on like a medium to a lower tide, there's a couple of parts you could just barely, just if you're going real slow, you can get in. But a foot or two each way, though, and it's doom. And hit that going 40 or 50, you're in trouble. So there's a couple of things that can happen. Is if it's narrow and you can go 35, 40 through it, but there's when you take a turn, you're kind of wide. If you can't see good, someone's coming while you're going. That's why I don't smash, and I'm not slow. I'm not a turtle. I think I smash most of the time, but around corners sometimes I'll slow down. I'm pretty considerate, And then when I see people on shore, I don't go smashing right next to them. Um, there's some etiquette. I was out at Bass Lake, and there was these dicks that rented a boat, and they almost got shot. There was like four people at the boat ramp, different trucks, and groups of people mad as hell about that one boat full of people. There was even like a group of us were kind of waiting to see if we could wait for them to get out the lake to confront them, or we were we were mad. A lot of us were, and it was this. Apparently, we didn't know until the next day. We seen it. It's a rental, a rent a boat, a wake boat, a ski boat from Bass Lake, and they were driving around circles around people, laughing and giggling, and catching our fishing lines with the motor, and cutting our lines, and then laughing at us. And where people were yelling and flipping them off, and they almost tipped a couple boats, and they would leave and go somewhere else, and then they would come back and do it again. And this one dude almost pulled his gun out at him. He was hella mad. And at the end of the day, there was a big group wanting to get those people, but I think they didn't know that that was a rental, because I watched that boat just stayed at the north. When everyone started pulling off the lake, that boat stayed up there. Now I know why, because the boat rental place is right there, and they were probably partying to the last minute to go turn it in. Then once they turned it in, another face in the crowd. So, but there was a bunch of people were pissed off. So there's just etiquette, on don't smash near people, gives people some space. Remember that most lakes are clockwise rotation. So you stay on the right hand side. So if you're going up a lake, don't be on the left shore. You got to be on the right hand side of the shore, just like driving in the streets. Treat it like that. So you stay always on the right hand side of the lake. So if you're going up the lake, you'll be up on this side. Then if you go to the top of the lake, you're going to turn around. Now you're going to be on your right hand side, which if you're going left would be your left. If you're going up, still would be your left. But it's always your right hand side, so it's clockwise rotation. Um, just simple rules. Most people should know. It's kind of common sense. There are rules. I think what would be more important, there are rules that people don't know about that'll frustrate the hell out of some people at the ramp. So when you're dropping your boat, there are some do's and don'ts. And then when you are by yourself or with a kid, there's some extremely important do's or don'ts about how you and where you tie your boat up. And when you're coming in, if you're by yourself or with a kid, it's extremely important where on the dock you park and tie your boat up when you go get your truck. So most of the cleats are on the inside. Sometimes there'll be some on the outside, or there won't be a spot to park on the other side, depending if the shoreline's tight enough. But you always want to make sure you're not parking your boat where you'll block or interfere with someone else, either going to the dock to drop someone off for their boat, or someone who's already went up there and got their truck and you don't see, and you pull up, you block off, and their partners in the bass boat over here. Then now you block the whole shit off, and now they can't launch. That's not cool at all. So you got to be attentive to your surroundings at the boat ramp, and never park your boat in the launching and pull out lane. Always park it somewhere else, pull it around, tie it somewhere off. Never ever park there. That's a super no. That'll get you hella yelled at. Screw them, Racho. People may be talking shite on a tiny boat, but go out there and smack them. I don't know if you got here a little late, but I told the story earlier about how I won first place, me and Jeremy, at the Future Pro Tour in a rubber blow up raft in like a 96 boat day, a field on a tough ass day, and whooped everyone in a little tiny rubber raft, little blow up raft. And we had a great time. Two lessons that day, multiple lessons, is it doesn't matter the rig that you're fishing in, skill and luck are everything. So finding the fish and then capitalizing and making the right decisions, that's just the most important thing. Your rig just helps get you there a little quicker or whatnot, or in style or comfort, right? But if it floats and it doesn't sink, and it holds you and gets you from point A to point B, a boat is nothing more than just a simple vessel, like a floating dock. And then from there, it's what you do that makes all the difference in the world. Now, yes, whether you have spot lock or not, do you have live scope or not? Yeah, man, that really matters big time. But still, we didn't have spot lock or live scope when we did what we did, and we just murked them. So, you fish enough, you're going to have a good time eventually. You're going to win one. It's just keeping at it. But, uh, the more you do it, sometimes the better you get. Sometimes, in my case, it seems like the worse you get. Oh, I'll show you. Okay, hold on. Good point. You said, wait a minute, get your whiteboard out. Hold on, let me show you real quick. I'll get the whiteboard right here. Oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, I'll just have to hang it back up later. Okay, so put it right here. All right, now say there's McClure's got two docks. So we'll say you're at Barrett's Cove South Ramp. Oh shit. Then there's McClure Point. So whichever one. But say we'll just draw a ramp for F's sake, like the Blue Oaks one. Your little cove right here, and say this is Blue Oaks. You got your cleats that you can tie up to, right? Let's make sure you guys can see that. Okay. So here is the road you would drive your truck down, right, in the boat. This is the dock right here. So let's say you're by yourself and your truck's parked uphill. You got to go get it. So this area, this zone right here, is where people will need to launch in and out and to drop off. And if someone is coming to drop off a friend to pick up their truck as well, you don't block off right here. So you always leave the inside lane and the outside lane open, and you only park your boat right here. If you do this, you're going to get some mean looks. It's not polite. Just think about it. Let's, like I said, you pull up, nobody's around. Okay, cool. And you park right here, but there was a bass boat sitting out over here. And that dude walked up the hill and got his truck. And now you're walking up the hill to go get your truck, and your boat's sitting right here. Now dude pulls his stuff in, and he's sitting here waiting. And now he's got to wait for you to walk all the way up the hill, wherever that may be, and get your truck back down here before his guy can load his boat because you're in the way. Does that make sense? Hope it makes sense. That's a real important one that I don't think a lot of guys who have boats know about. That one's a real important one. It gets you the stink eye big time. This guy, you're gonna get the stink eye. I was idling by a guy watching him fish on the delta, and he turned around and looked at me and said, "What is wrong with you? Does your neck hurt?" And he was dead ass serious. That's an asshole right there. People just interested. I'm interested. I'm a people watcher too. I'll watch you. But if you say some shit like that to me, I'll say some super mean shit back.
I'm not going to stay and fight you over it. But if you bring your boat over to me to do some shit, yeah, I don't care. I'll defend myself. And I'm opinionated, so I sometimes bite my lip and just keep doing what I'm doing. And usually I'm smart enough, especially if I'm in a bad situation, to know when to shut the hell up. But damn, there are just certain times I don't care what's gonna happen. I'm saying something, right? So yeah, that's the mean. I'm not a mean person. You have to be mean to me first. I'm never initially mean. And even in fighting, I'm a counter fighter. I don't usually throw the first punch. I wait till the other people throw punches and I either block and duck and dodge and then I retaliate. That's why I've been jumped, but I haven't lost a fight. Not a one-on-one one, but I've had my ass whooped, but usually it took a couple guys to do it. Bastards. But anyways, it's the principle, That's just not cool. So show me dropping in first at ramp. Yeah. If you drop in, it's the same thing. If you drop in, what you do is you drop in. If you're by yourself, leave your boat attached at the front and just unattach the back. Drop in and we'll let your boat lift all the way up and where your trailer's in kind of good, right? Park back in next to the dock. Then you walk along the dock, hop in your boat, go to the front, unnotch your boat, and it'll start to float off. Then you get in, turn it on or use the trolling motor, bring it around to the other side of the dock, park it, tie it up, and get out and drive off. Now, if the dock is long enough, here's the trick though. If the dock is long enough and big enough, it's okay to park towards the end of it on the inside, especially if you look around. Now, here's some easy to see clues. Is if you pull up and there's literally nobody around, you're probably fine. Nobody's gonna say anything. And then if someone does pull up or was there, you be like, oh my bad. But if the lake's like super busy, people are pulling in and out, yeah, you can get the stink eye. You want to make sure you use the outside. But if you look around and there's just nobody there, like I said, if you see a guy in a bass boat all by himself just sitting idling out by the ramp somewhere, he's already dropped his guy off and he's waiting for him to come load his boat, right? So if you see a bass boat just idling around, then it's not a good idea to usually park right there because that's kind of like not cool. So there's the rules of it, but again, whatever, right? Hey, Mark Nav, nice to see you on tonight. Am I doing the BBT tomorrow? No, I'm going to be doing the River Rat tomorrow at Eastman. I'm going to be at Lake Eastman. That's what I got told. Either do the BBT at McClure or the River Rat at Eastman. And the River Rat's only like $100. So I'm going to go do the River Rat. It's a smaller tournament, cool group of guys. Got a decent chance. I've finished outside of the money in like every other damn River Rat tournament I fished. And in every tournament I fished, because they're night tournaments, at first I was, this last year or two getting all my new gear, like all situated and then fishing. I haven't fished at night for a while. I lost so many jig fish, mostly jig fish, but some crankbait fish. But I damn near should have won like almost every damn one of them. So I have fun at those. Whether I lose or not, I don't care. I don't even care if I come, as long as I don't come in last. And if I do, I'll be laughing. I'll show up with my one fish or whatever, laughing, knowing that I probably last, but I'll still have fun and do it. Great group of guys. But usually, like I said, I've got a decent chance at a smaller, fun tournament like that to just go out, maybe win a couple bucks, take first to third, yeah, and have a good night. And if not, donated to, like I said, a cool group of guys, and it wasn't, a big old fancy expensive ordeal with all this money. Eastman's cheap; it's only like $5 to get in, and it's gonna be, a little 20-30 boat tournament at max. So I'm interested to get out there and smack them. Probably won't even be that. It might be 20 boats. I've been to them where they're only like 13 or 14. I've been to them where they're like 30. So who knows? I haven't been to a river rat tournament in a minute.
I bounce around. I don't got no loyalty to any tournament schedule because I can't commit to a schedule with work and with my family. There's gonna be days I'm not available, so I'm not going for like TOC and all that good stuff. I'll be fishing with Mike Beltran. I had that happen to me at New Maloney's too, because I didn't have the muscle thing filled out and opened up in this way and that way. I hate that shit. Just like the boater card. I'm never getting the boater card. I'll be hella mad. I'll throw a fit about that. Hey man, be quiet, don't talk like that. So they got into it, and my buddy cold cocked him and knocked him out right there at the ramp. Yeah, I could see it, man. People play stupid games and win stupid prizes. One thing about me is I've never lost a fight because I've only been in like maybe eight or nine of them, and they're always in self defense of myself or others. And usually when I react, it's kind of out the blue, and people don't see it coming because it's like I'm defensive. I'll try to talk my way out of a fight if there's I got nothing to prove. I've been there, done that. So I'm not a cocky dude. I can get mean and loud. Most of them and some of my fights have came because of that, but usually before it comes to blows, I'll start to simmer down. But then if I made the other person already too mad, well then screw it, we're fighting. But there's been some times where I've been wrong seriously bad, and I was infuriated. And usually when that happens, the other person apologizes and I simmer down. Only once has it led to a fight, and it was a massive one with the big old super buff dude. And I barely got out of that one. He was winning kind of. It was like a 60-40 match. We were just beating the shit out of each other, bombing on each other too, like Terminator dudes. And when I started realizing he was kind of getting the upper hand, I noticed he was throwing basically quick hooks left and right over and under my jabs and other punches. So I just covered up, waited for him to swing, and then I hit him with two uppercuts and I split his chin right here. It was pretty funny. It was his eyes went about as big as saucers. Like, what are we fighting for anyways? Because I forgot. But I was really mad. I know why. I could tell the story, but yeah. So I'm not a mean dude. I don't get like that. But there's times like I've gotten really pissed off because like I hate. See, one thing about me is I hate being accused of being a thief because I don't steal. I don't really lie. I mean, that in itself is a lie because everyone lies like little white lies. Um, or like little lies of convenience. Try to have a really honest filter where even then I'm pretty damn good. Like I pretty much don't lie. I just rather tell it how it is. It's been, I don't know, 20 years since or 15 years since I've actually probably told like a bald face lie type shit. Like I try to keep it real. I just rather deal with the consequences. Maybe I've told one here or there. I don't know, but I have a code, right? And I've been traumatized in my life. I've been homeless. I've been in foster care before. I've been bullied, and I've been messed with in a lot of different ways. So my fuse is pretty long, but when like I've snapped or got mad when I go, then I go usually, So I don't like to light that fuse. I keep it real cool and I can usually blow it out, snuff it out, start to feel myself get mad, and be like, calm down, calm down. So I'm lucky. I've been pretty good and haven't really gotten any trouble in life and not, wrote any checks with my mouth that my butt couldn't cash, and I've been lucky. But there's always someone bigger and badder and tougher, someone better in fishing, someone better than this. That's just how life is. You got to enjoy it, love it, live it. And then if you are the best at something, try to be the best at something and be the best that you can be. But know that there's a massive possibility that there's definitely someone better than you. So I just try to keep it humble. That's, I guess, a long-winded way of saying it. But but I've seen some crazy stuff like that. I'll tell you guys a quick story before we go. They don't have the spear point hooks for jigs. No, I haven't seen them yet. Ian's Fishing Adventures. Hey, how's it going? When was that? When you went fishing at Hogan? It was just like a week ago. Man, if you go across from the dam right there, or not across from the dam, if you go to Hogan right now and you go directly across from the launch to the right, kind of, there are these like fingerling points that have this like kind of rock, like lava rock type shelves where it's rock and then dirt, and they're like long, kind of skinny points. They're loaded with 3 to 8 pound bass right now, monsters. Not like a lot, but a lot of twos and threes and fours, and a couple that I seen that were like 5 to 8. And I seen one that I think was a double digit. They were all over there, some just monsters. There was one also a monster by the dam, but south, going out and around and then down past the islands and stuff. There was some rocky points. They were all on those. I found beds still. There were still fish on beds at Hogan. So that was just a week ago. No, I've never. Charles Chalk, they've got big spear point hooks. I know Stage Stop Gun Shop sells them. I know also Fisherman's Warehouse in Manteca, Tracy, whatever, Manteca sells them. So I just don't think they're on any jigs yet. That would be nice to see. So I'm sure that'll be next. But speaking of how Jason was talking about, how the dude got knocked out, I fished Folsom when the salmon run, and a Nimbus Dam right there. They it's like Lake Natomas or something. It's the Nimbus Dam, and that piece of river stretching from the base of the dam, dropping down all the way back for like a quarter mile. The shoreline gets lined with hundreds and hundreds of fishermen, just fishing over and over again for salmon, big old monster salmon. And I've watched dudes straight choke each other out and beat each other damn near to death over those salmon. It's so crazy. There'll be the Russians, the black dudes, Mexicans, Asians, the white guys. There'll be like all these groups too, but they'll come in like a group of 4 or 5 that you can tell are friends. And when they get their lines tangled up and they cost each other big old 30, 40 pound salmon, they start throwing blows at each other. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen to see that. And then sometimes it's cool cooperation where you see someone hooks a big old 30, 40 pound salmon and they're fighting it. And he says, fish on, and everybody raises their hands and their poles, and the guy goes under it. Guys reel in their stuff if they're in the way. If not, they'll lift or lower their rod so the guy can maneuver. And you walk your fish downstream and tire it out, and then fight it in to wherever there's a couple of landing bays, right? One right by the dam and one a lot farther back, and then one farther than that. Depending on how big the fish is, you might have to go hella far with it. But yeah, I've seen guys straight up brawl there, like just UFC. It was so crazy. But people love fishing. I guess I love fishing. I just wouldn't fight over it. Shit. I'm actually trying to help people catch fish. Like, here, brother, have my fish. Turn the other cheek. Here, let me show you my spot. Over there, cast right there. You can catch something. I swear. Go. That's me. I'm trying to help. I'm just nice about it, I guess. I love watching people catch fish, enjoying the sport. I'm a people watcher too, so that does suck. You got people like that at the Delta or other places. If you're watching them, they get all like uppity, like, what are you looking at? Like, man, calm down, dude. Just watching. So smash that like button if you guys haven't. Man, this one went off the rails. We just started going off. Had a great conversation tonight. Next thing you know, I look, it's almost 9 o'clock. So thanks for hanging out and chatting with me tonight. We got a couple more minutes to go, and then we'll be signing off. So any thoughts on where you would like to see me potentially fish next? We're going to have another um, like a poll to see where you guys want to go and want to have me go, and then we'll do that. And We also going to have the May subscriber and members giveaway. So we should have a lot of cool stuff coming up soon. So make sure you guys' notification bells are checked. We're going to have some cool live streams coming. I try to make every one of them fun and adventurous. So we got some good fishing talk now. Oh, am I still down for Tuesday? Speaking of which, I needed to message you. Freaking work came up. Like I have Tuesday and Wednesday, they want me to work in the Bay Area, and I'm subbing my labor out to Jason Buffalo. So Buffalo Mechanical, I'll be working for them. So when it gets slow and I'm not making much money, instead of just sitting around here wondering where some cash going to come in, I sub out my labor and I don't have to pay any taxes. But I mean, I have to pay taxes out of it, but it's done like a 1099, like I'm my own employee. So I took Tuesday and Wednesday. I said yes, and I totally forgot about it, but I really needed the money. So I'm like, well, shit. Once I remembered, I was like, I need to let you know. So if you can do Saturday, Saturday works for me. If you can fish that Saturday, or if not, we can shoot for next Tuesday. But I think I'm going to be in Clear Lake here on the 12th or 13th, 14th, and 15th. So, and you're invited if you want to come up, brother. We're going to be, we just need people with boats because we're going to have a lot of people coming and we only have so much room on the boats. So, a little side note is we're going to be renting a place up at Clear Lake and we're going to have a bunch of friends with boats come up and we're all going to be fishing out of boats and we'll have a couple of people per boat. We don't want to have too many. So if you want to come up to Clear Lake and spend a few days with Common Sense fishing on Clear Lake, that's coming up in like just a week, actually next weekend, I believe. So well, if today is the 6th, then that would mean yes, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll be at Clear Lake. So next Tuesday I can fish or the Saturday after. You're on vacation the week after? Man. Well, we got to get a day in, brother, and I'll make it up to you. I'll take you wherever you want to go. We'll go smash. We can go to Delta, go to New Maloney's, go somewhere good. I might even be doing another Clear Lake trip. So if I do that, I'll let you know. I'm trying to get a couple in before they lock the ramps down because this year we're going to see a lot of lakes shut. It's a sad reality. We're going to probably lose at least 3 or 4 of them that I'm aware of. They're talking by like July or something. I think Clear Lake's supposed to shut down. I don't know if Eastman's supposed to shut down, but there's a couple of them I've heard that they're going to shut them down. You ready for the Clear Lake trip? You betcha. Hell yeah, I am. Nah, I'm not really ready, but I'm ready. Let's do it the following Tuesday. All right, then. I'm game. Oh, yeah, I'm ready, though, boss. I'm all psyched and ready to go. I'm prepped. I just don't have shit ready, though. Like, I got to get clothes and I got to get all my camping shit or, like, what I'll need. And I think Dana was talking about they're going to rent, like, a place. And then there's going to be, like, all of us staying there. So I don't think we're all going to have our own beds. I don't know where we're going to sleep. So as long as I got somewhere on the floor, I might have to bring like a blow up mattress or just a couple of fucking sleeping bags because I have scoliosis. So sleeping on the floor jacks me up. I won't get any sleep. I'll toss and turn all night. I won't be able to sit still for more than about 3 or 4 minutes. Then I'll start cramping. Then I'll go to my side and then it'll cramp. Then I'll go to my other side. Then it'll cramp. Then I'll lay on my belly and I might almost die waking up with my lungs collapsed with like freaking my acid reflux goes into my lungs when I do that. I can't sleep on my stomach. I have acid reflux and a little bit of sleep apnea. When I sleep on my stomach, sometimes I make it by fine, but at least it's been once every. I've learned not to sleep on my stomach, so when I do, it's only probably 1 out of every 10 times. I'll wake up all of a sudden with my lungs like collapsed, like I can't breathe, and then I'll usually have out of my stomach and then will go into my airway and start going into my lungs. and then I'll wake up and it'll feel like my chest is compressed down and I can't open it. And when I take a breath finally, it feels like my lungs unstick, like, and then I can feel the burn of the acid. And the problem is you can't put water in your lungs to like, you can't relieve it. It hurts bad for a while. It's like the most scariest thing I can ever explain to you. It's like almost like waking up, dying, like you're about to die, but then you like come out of it. It's crazy. So, anyways, I don't know. I'll probably have to bring like I'll get like a yoga mat. As long as I have something like that, I'll be fine. I mean, I'm a savage. I could do it, but like I said, I'd be tossing and turning all night. So the next day I'd be okay, but like 2 or 3 days of that shit, I'd be like, I'm a fat boy, so I'll be all broken and bruised. So hopefully there's a couch or somewhere, softish I can sleep. But if not, hell, I'll sleep in my truck if I have to. So I'll pull the driver's seat, lays down almost like a bed. I'll just be like, psh, lay out in the truck and be out. Either way, I'm stoked for Clear Lake, so I'm ready, bro. Whether I got to fish like a hillbilly or, however I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I'll try to get my boat up to Clear Lake for one day, maybe Saturday. Oh shit, let us know. We're gonna be there. So if you can get your boat up there, man, bring a friend, bring somebody, and come on up. It's gonna be hella fun for sure. Mark Nav knows he's been on one of these little party trips with us before. We do it big. So yeah, get everything you need prepped and ready, bro. I'm gonna be ready for sure. So I just won't start actually getting ready till like the day before. I'll go through and I'll get all my clothes. I'll figure out what I want to wear. I'll check the weather, try to match everything up, and then I'll get like all my food ready. That I got, whatever I got that I can eat. Let's say, because I it's not my adventure this time, so I'm not the one, who's like what do you call planning and everything. So last time I was the one responsible for cooking everything, setting everything up, like being the host. So if the host is doesn't want to cook yet or isn't ready or is blah blah, then I got jerky or whatever I need to get me by. You get what I'm saying? So that I'm not on the host's whim or bitching out. I'm like, hey man, can we eat or got anything to drink? I have my own shit. But supposedly or hopefully people be pitching in and there'll be stuff for everybody. So that'll be nice. And in which case I'll just mooch. I'll be like, hey guys, don't mind me. You mind if I have something to eat? Shit, I paid for the last one. We all did though. That was a great trip. So that's why, like, I'm thinking after this one, I might do another one like in a week or two. But I don't know. I've got a lot of crap planned. I got my kids and stuff, so I got to do stuff with my kids. My kids are going to Camp Jack Hazard. Or if you've got kids, before I go tonight, if you've got kids, Google or YouTube search or look up Camp Jack Hazard. I went when I was a kid and it was the baddest, most rad, awesome, kick-ass experience I've ever had, like as a young adult. And it profoundly affected me. It was one of my best memories of like adolescent, teenage childhood. One of them, not the best, but one of them. It was just so epic. And so it's usually 800, $700 for your kid to go to camp there. But they have what are called scholarships or camperships. And the lady on the phone told me that in like 20 something years that she's never denied one. And they basically either give you like half off, 3/4, or a full price off. So if you've got kids, you got a chance, man, to send them to a place that's basically freaking, and it doesn't matter your income. You could be rich, you could be poor, they don't care. They just want you to write 2 letters of recommendation from people, and then just apply for it. And then they tell you, and they ask you, just be honest, what could you afford? So, can you afford 100? Can you afford 200 per kid? And then you say, oh, we can afford 100. Then they might approve you for all, 700, or it might approve you for the whole thing and say, don't worry about it. Cause it's like, they get government kickbacks and stuff like that. But they just, you got to apply and fill all the paperwork out. And it's like I said, it's one of the best experiences I ever had. And I'm so excited my kids are going to get to go. So if you have kids, you can still apply for this year. If they're young, they can go any year up until they're 17. And this is the last year, like two of my kids can go because they're 16, one of them. So this is like a once in a lifetime thing. I'm so excited. And like I said, you can ask for a full scholarship. So you just fill out some forms and they may take your kids for free. And you can literally just like, oh my God, they get to have like 8 days of paradise. They have like archery, swimming, they have an outdoor heated pool. They're up in the mountains. It's like their own little facility. They've got the outdoor hikes and a camping trip they go on, and they do the story stuff. They do arts and craft. They survival. There's like all kinds of fun courses, and based on your interests, you can pick what you want to do. And it's a massive camp, like Camp Green Meadows, but just way better. It's like a private rich kids camp, but for anybody. So if you have kids, check out Camp Jack Hazard. This is not an endorsement. And anyways, on Monday, I got a package drop here from Ansky's Tackle Box. So shout out to Ansky's Tackle Box. We're going to be going over some new badass soft plastics that Ansky has, and I'm going to be fishing them. I'll tell you guys how I'm going to use each one of them. We'll break that down, do a little shout out for his channel, and I'll let you guys know how the tournament goes. We'll do all our catching up, all that good stuff. But we'll see you guys Monday, 7 to 9, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. You guys have a good night. Smash that like button on your way out, please. And we'll catch you on the next one.